Yeah, that was good. We got cut short of a conversation, but all right, we are live. It is 7 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is what time is
10
yours?
p.m. here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Literally about as far
Wow.
away as humanly possible from each other on the planet.
Perfect. All right, so we are in the show, and yeah, I think we got a few people starting to come in. Good morning from Alan Thompson. Hey, if you guys are joining, drop something in the comments just to say hello, where you're from. We've got quite a lot registered for today, so I'm looking forward to the interaction. The basis of these kind of webinars is really to have a few teaching moments, but really have Q&A, have some interaction with you guys. How can we help you, and how can you guys help us as well, right? Why not? So today's webinar, it feels a little crazy to be doing a webinar right now on the back of Q4 and out of the back of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the craziness of our industry, which is right now. But we're going to be talking a little bit today about how to unlock profits going out of the back of Q4 and going into Q1 of 2024. Can you believe it? We're almost there, 2024. So how do we what's the best way to unlock those profits and grow your profitability going into the new year? I'm going to be talking a little bit about PPC and SEO and a few key metrics that you should be looking at, and really just reflecting on a few things out of Q4. And John's going to be talking about a few things around reimbursements. But before we get there, why don't we introduce myself and John. If you don't know me, I am John, the CEO and founder of ZonGuru. We are an operational tool set for sellers and agencies. Yeah, that's it. I'm based here in Los Angeles. And what about John? John, I'm stoked to have you on here today. We've had a few things together, and I'm always look forward to hearing what you're going to talk about. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you, John. I'm John, CEO of Salad Candy.
We got stuck on that last time. We were like, John, which John? I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
JTJC,
Yeah.
not to be confused with the other
Oh,
JC.
Man.
See, always confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, CEO of Seller Candy. What Seller Candy does is we believe that the worst part about selling on Amazon is dealing with Amazon directly. So we make it so you never need to talk to seller support again as our main service. We also do Amazon reimbursements, which we're going to be talking a little bit about today. Personally, I live in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So about as far away as possible from the East Coast, because I was there a few weeks ago and it was a very long way away. But yeah, it's great to be here and great to connect from the other side of the world, absolutely instantly.
Yeah, man. And, John and I have had a few conversations, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, we are what I would say preferred partners of each other. If you go into ZonGuru right now, you can go down to the left-hand side and you can actually click on an area where we talk about reimbursements. There are certain services, software, tech that we won't do on ZonGuru's side, and we always look for the right partners that we can bring to our audience, and we put them through a pretty stringent vetting process, and that's on tech, services, and frankly values. Right? They got to fit our value set, and Seller Candy and John Cavendish JC passed with flying colors. So they are in our platform, and we highly recommend everything they do, and definitely highly recommend listening to anything that John says. So yeah, it's going to be a good one today. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you, John. And yeah, we also a big partner of ZonGuru, and we have now your listing optimizer tool featured in our portal. So anyone, the Seller Candy clients, can click on there and then go and sign up for your listing optimizer tool, which is super cool.
All right, Ben Smith, Tokyo. Nice one.
I know a Ben Smith.
Yeah, you do. All right, I'm going to share my screen over here, and let's dive into it. So again, anybody who's on live here, feel free to drop a comment in there, and let's dive into the presentation. JC, can you see my screen?
It's still loading for me, but that might also be because StreamYard, my side of the world, does sometimes take forever to load. So if you can see it, I assume we can see it.
Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. All right. So today, the agenda for today, we're going to, I'm going to spend about 10, 15 minutes talking about a few tactics and techniques and thoughts I have around this specific topic around, profits post the Q4, and from a PPC and SEO and a metric perspective, what that means. And I've got a few resources that I can give you as well. So we're going to talk through that for about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to then hand over to John Cavendish. He's going to jump into reimbursements specifically and share his knowledge and thoughts around that. And then we'll go into Q&A. If you have questions as we go, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we can definitely start to curate those and then go back and answer them towards the end of the session today. So pretty short and sweet, but hopefully you get a lot of value out of the session today. All right, let's go into it. So we talked about ZonGuru. I don't need to hop on this for too long, but just know we've been around since 2017. We have 18 different tools to help you operationally manage your storefronts and optimize your storefronts, and that is both for brands, individual sellers, as well as agencies that are using our platform. Agencies are our fastest growing segment at the moment. We have tools across product research, SEO, and keyword intelligence, which are our strongest flagship tools, especially with being the first in the space to integrate AI almost a year ago now, January. It was this time last year we were like, oh my goodness, what is this thing? And we jumped on that and released it in January. So we moved fast on that. Alerts, financials, and obviously the global Amazon marketplaces. So that's us in a nutshell. If you don't know us yet, and let's jump into it. So let's talk about Q4. So everyone on this call, whether you're an agency or a brand, you're just like, what is going on? How is Q4 going for us? We've put in all the effort. We're starting to see the results, and we're starting to assess how we performed, right? And I hear this every day from sellers and agencies, which is how has sales been? Have they met your expectations, right? And what are expectations? It's obviously, are sales up? Profits, what's happening on the profit side, organic versus paid, ACOS, TACOs, conversion rates, kind of scratching your head, trying to understand how can I evaluate the performance? And in terms of evaluation, a lot of people come back and they're always looking at year over year, right? And this has been a common theme. And it's been wild, obviously, over the last 3 years with COVID happening and everything, sales completely up. You can't, not consistent patterns, right? And trying to understand how has the performance been. Obviously, this year it's been somewhat better, which is good. And there's comparisons year over year for sure, and you should be doing that. But again, you should be looking at the context of your current performance. So how are you performing in Q4 right now? And when I say context, it's comparing to the marketplace, to your competitors, to your niche. Like, how are you performing? Are you 10% up and your niche is typically 5% down? Or what is the contextual comparisons you can make? And this is like a big pain point for sellers and agencies, is really understanding like, hey, how am I performing in context to my competitors? We'll jump into that and we'll show you some stuff that we look at specifically around that. Obviously, what went well and what are some of the missed opportunities? And this is, around assessing it. If you don't do a good job of assessing your business right now, it doesn't set you up for growth in 2024. So that's what I would encourage is absolutely making sure you assess your business in the right way, to understand where you've been great, where you have missed, and what are your MVPs that you're taking into 2024, right? This is an interesting stat. This is actually a snapshot that an agency shared with me with a summary around a specific number of categories, and it was exactly this, like understanding like what has year over year performance been like, and what is the sentiment that we are hearing from sellers. And I'd be interested in agencies or sellers, like drop in a few comments there. What are your what is your sentiment on year over year performance? Specifically around your spend on PPC, right? What your CPC has been, return on ad spend, conversion rates, obviously sales, and actually profits, right? How are you doing on the profit side? I'd be interested to hear what the collective group here has any insights on in terms of the assessment they've done so far and in terms of how they're performing. This is kind of like generally what I've been seeing in the space, which is, you can see on the snapshot here of Black Friday year over year, they got 18% more sales across the category, but with 59% more spend, right? So in a nutshell, what they're saying is like you're paying a lot more for your sales, and that's obviously impacting profits, right? So are we all getting squeezed on price? Is Amazon taking a lot more of the share? And what does that mean for your business right now, and obviously going into 2024? I've got some key thoughts on that, and I think it's, if this is the general trend of profits being squeezed, obviously there's new pricing coming out and new service fees, etc. for Amazon. They're charging more in some areas, but they're giving us a break on some areas as well. But I think for me, Amazon is always going to be one of the best and most important channels that you have in your e-commerce business, but it is becoming more and more important to have more than one channel, right? And this is indicative of that, right? Is you're going to get a lot more sales, a lot out of that channel, but it might be pricier, it might be eating into your profits, and if you can use that runway of sellers and of sales coming in to start to develop your other channels, especially in 2024, I think that's a really key piece, especially D2C, right? Shopify, etc. All right. So again, if you guys have any comments, please feel free to drop those in the chat. So let's talk about how do you assess that business, right? Q4 metrics and the 2024 opportunities. What are the things we should be looking at? Yeah, revenue, organic and paid, for sure. This is a big one, right? It's been talked about a lot, which is contribution, profit, and margin. So it's no longer we just really looking at net profits, right? We're looking at contribution, profit, and margin. If you don't know the details of that, I encourage you to kind of Google that and understand what it is. But at a high level, we're looking at the profits which include paid sales, right? Include your PPC spend, and excluding fixed costs on your cost of goods, right? So you're trying to look at what are the actual pieces that eat into your profit that actually matter when it comes to building your business on Amazon. So this is something that everyone is talking a lot about on their business, and it becomes more important as you really grow a substantial business. You get more fixed costs, etc. So this is a big one, is to understand what your contribution, profit, your margin is. Category and PPC conversion rates. I think this is an excellent way to assess how you're performing, which is understanding your category conversion rate. You can now get that inside of Seller Central. You can see your conversion rate, your average conversion rate for the category, and how is that comparing to your PPC conversion rate, your conversion rate in general. Are you up on your category, which is the goal, right? You always want to be above the conversion rate for your category. So definitely looking at that. And if you're down on that, that's what you've got to work on the most to get above, right? ACOS, TACOS, ROAS, LTV, understanding your lifetime value, whether you're sophisticated on that or not, but the more you can understand about what's the actual value of your customer, the more you have a confident strategy around your PPC, how much you're willing to spend per click. And obviously with pay to play on Amazon, that's more and more critical, right? Niche rank and BSR, this is a really good one. Like niche rank, I think is a good indicator of how you're performing, obviously of your niche. If your niche rank is improving, that means you are selling better than most of your competitors in your niche, right? So yeah, we can look at market share of voice, and we have ways of looking at that, but this is your biggest indicator, right? So always look at your niche rank, market size, market share, we just talked about. We have some stats on that, and this is the context, right? I think one of the big things with ZonGuru, we're always trying to give you context, which is, hey, what's the best keywords for your listing? How well is your listing optimized? How well are you selling? But how well you're selling, how well are you listing? How well is your listing optimized? Or what keywords are you finding in comparison to your competitors, right? Because you always want to know how you're doing versus your competitors. So we do a good job there. And another indicator is search volume, right? So what are your keywords that are in your top 1 to 25, and then 26 to 200. That 26 to 200 is your opportunity, right? And I'm going to show you this pretty cool audit that we do, which really looks at that opportunity and will help you with scale. All right. So, David, there's always one. Will there be a replay? Yes, for sure. There will for sure be a replay. You'll get this in Daniel will answer that for you. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is actually a brand new product that we have, which is a reporting product. And what this product does is it helps you outside of our dashboard. It's actually a live data driven solution that you can develop PDFs out of it and look at the data. But this product is beyond our dashboard, is actually looking at some of the extremely the key metrics you should be looking at across your SKUs and across your business that will drive the assessment of the performance. So when you're looking at Q4 and performance, these are the kind of metrics you should be looking at. I'm going to show you this report in a second, but I'm just going to highlight here. I just pulled it up in a little bit larger, as you can see. But from the outside of the financials, and we talked about that, right? Is looking at your KPIs, right? So conversion rate, PPC conversion rate, ACOS, ROAS, refund percentage, organic ratio, contribution margin, right? A profit margin on the contribution side. And here we go. Here's the context stuff. Niche rank we give you, total market size, market share, search volume, and then search volume 26 to 200. So that's the ways that you can start to assess your performance in context to your niche, which is probably one of the biggest questions, at least I know personally for sellers they want to scratch, but for agencies for sure, right? You have clients and you're like, how am I performing? Like understanding, what are the success metrics that we have to evaluate for? So is it year over year, or we're looking at the last 3 months, or categories, etc., or what is the context versus competitors? Like how are they growing versus us, right? And I think this is critical. So I'm going to show you that report in a second. And this is available for enterprise customers that we have, sellers and agencies. So, we're starting with those. We will be rolling this out for everyone, but this is now available here. We're going to do a bigger deep dive on this come January. But this is just a sneak peek on what we've developed and what's working really well. Okay, so that's a report that we have. Again, we'll show you and we'll give you an opportunity to see it and even get it, especially on the agency side if you're interested. And then this is another one that we're doing, which is pretty awesome. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to actually get this. We're giving this away to the first 20 responders. That I'll give you a link towards the end of this, and the first 20 responders can actually get this. But this is ultimately a way that we can help you assess your Q4 and understand the balance between your performance and your organic current position, right? And what is your potential of where you can grow, and what are the things that you can do right now to grow your position organically. And that's that's one of the ultimate things I think we can do as sellers, is what are the levers that we have, which is yes, PPC, it's SEO, listing, conversion rates, which is obviously related to price. Those are kind of our biggest levers. Outside traffic is becoming important as well, but PPC, SEO, and price are the levers that we can use in combination to drive our organic rank. And we can show you kind of how you're performing right now and what's being left on the table, and then what you need to do to actually grow the organic rank and really take that into 2024, which at the end of the day, what happens if you grow organic rank? That's the best sales you can get on Amazon and the most profit you can make, right? So, that's what this report does. This is just a very small snapshot of what it does, but we kind of tell you where are the keywords, what's your search volume, your conversion rates, and then we show you, hey, what out of your SKUs, what is sitting in that, you have 1 to 25, which is great, but what's sitting in 25 to 50, which are your lowest hanging fruits? How much revenue potential is sitting there, and then also how much revenue is sitting there in the 200 to the 50 to 200 sitting in that position, and then what levers can we pull, and how can we drive those organic ranks up, and then what does that mean for revenue? And you can see just with this one ASIN that we're looking at here, your lowest hanging fruit is an additional 5,000 a month, but you have another 33,000 there that you can get, and we'll show you tactics of how you can actually unlock that 33,000 and grow that monthly revenue, which is pretty cool. So this is a report that we have. We'll be looking at kind of your high and low ACOS, your high and low conversion rates, what you should be doing to drive your to get the most out of your highest conversion rates, ASINs, and then what you should be doing on the other side, which is your lower converting ASINs. Again, we'll be identifying those opportunities. And the main thing that I said is, at the end of this, we will be going in and actually showing you, giving away 20 of these audits. So there's just a link. You can go in there. If you qualify, you will get access to that audit. And we're giving away 20 for free, absolutely free. So take advantage of that for sure. All right, the final piece that I just want to talk about here, because I know I'm running short on time here, but the final piece is quickly on SEO. So what should you be doing on SEO? Now, we have some of our flagship tools are in the SEO space, right? Keywords on fire, and then our listing optimization with ChatGPT. What I suggest is that you go in and you actually rerun a Keywords on Fire session coming into January, right? And the reason I say you should do that is what we do best with our keyword intelligence tool is we do an excellent job, the best in the space, I would say, of finding the current for this month, current localized for that marketplace keywords that are the most impactful to your business, right? So when you rerun your session come January, you're going to start picking up on all of the keywords that people are using right now that may be missing your listing, maybe missing in your PPC campaigns, and more importantly, getting into some of those seasonal words of the new year, right? New year, new you, etc. Moving out of the Christmas season. And so once you do that, you should identify the new keywords, plus remove or deprioritize the old seasonal keywords, right? So probably not the first week of January, but getting into mid-January, deprioritize or remove those seasonal keywords and then put in the new ones for the new year, right? And especially if your product is seasonal, right? For the new year. Identify, and then, what's a pretty cool thing, I'll show you this really quickly in our demo, but you can identify, once you get those keywords in your listing, you can actually do a view inside of Keywords on Fire to identify keywords that your main competitors haven't found or aren't ranking for yet. And if they have decent search volume and they're relevant for your product, you can actually put those into your listing and then also run a focused PPC campaign around those to get better conversion rate and then drive your organic rank, which is going to help your profits, right? So I'll show you that view. It's just one view within our tool that we can show you, because we have that, we were the first in the space to have an overview of your competitors inside of keyword intelligence, right? You can add them to your listing, obviously run that focused PPC and drive your rank and profits. And then obviously test pricing, right? So whether you use automation, which software, things like Prophecy, etc., are really great automation softwares, or whether you do it yourself, but start to test price increases, right? With your MVPs, if you're performing there, let's see what propensity your customers have to pay. So start to test that. This is the view that I talked about. I'll show you this live in a second. But you can literally pick out and you can go to all your competitors that are assessed in the keyword intelligence session, and you can actually click on, show me all the keywords that they don't rank for on page 1 and add some search volume, and then you can start to look at those keywords. And I can show you one of these examples in a second. I am going short on time here. I'll keep going just for a second. I just want to highlight a couple of things. One is where we were the first to, bring in ChatGPT into listing optimization. The most important thing there is that we give you a baseline in under 1 minute that is probably 20 to 30% better optimized than the best listings on page 1. And you can compare listings, which is, amazing. But we also give you the ability and the insights to manually update that listing. So we're giving you that baseline plus the insights to then finesse it, bring in your creative expertise to get it to exactly where you need it, and then you can publish it directly to Amazon through the tool, right? So and we do it in some bulk formats. You can do it at parent levels as well. So it's pretty cool, and you get that comparison to your main competitors, which is awesome. And then Keywords on Fire, we have a brand new one coming out in January 2.0. This tool has been a game changer in the space for a while, and the new one is coming out in January. We're going to be doing a deep dive on that for sure in January, so watch the space. It has got a lot more bells and whistles, controls, customization, insights. It's awesome. So I've been playing around with it on our test server right now. Okay, so again, results just coming out of those tools, on average about 23% increase on revenue. We track sellers' revenue before and after using our AI tool, and it's about a 23% increase on existing listings. and actually a 37% on average increase on bestseller listings. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. I'm going to show you quickly inside of the tool, and then I'm going to hand over to John. If you can see
no rush.
Okay.
I want to see the tool too.
Good. Okay, cool. This is ZonGuru, right? So if you're an agency, we give you all of these tools specific to one client, which is a pretty cool feature. So you have this sub account, that you can use, and you're not mixing different clients in your software view, and you have permission access that you can give out to a whole bunch of people. Obviously, for sellers, you'll have one account like this. Here's all the tools, the dashboards, everything that you need to access. What I just wanted to show you, this is our current version of Keywords on Fire. And I just want to show you that if you rerun the session, so if you have a current session that's sitting up, you can just literally click on this button and refresh the session. It's going to reanalyze it for that current month, right? And bring out all the keywords that are new, and you're going to see that in the listing. And then obviously you can add that into your listing optimizer versus your own listing and see where the gaps are. But if you go in and actually have a look at the results, right? Again, what we do really well is we show you the keywords with a bunch of stats against the keywords that are most relevant for your business. But what we also do is we show you this view of the top 25 competitors and where they rank up to position 300. So you have this overlay of competitors. And so what that does is it gives you the opportunity to look at keywords and say, okay, well, I want to see where are my competitors strong or where are they weak? Where's the opportunity, right? And so it's pretty easy. I can just click on this and go, show me all the keywords that these are my top 4 competitors that rank for the most keywords, right? In resistant exercise bands. So I can click on show me all the keywords they don't rank for on page 1. So I can just click this, right? You can see there's 148 keywords that the top 4 competitors don't rank for on page 1. And then I can go, okay, well, let's add some search volume, right? So let's say we want it to be 1,000 or more in search volume, right? So there's 59 keywords here that these top 4 competitors don't rank for on page 1 that have greater than 1,000 or more in search volume, right? And I can look at these keywords and I can say, what is relevant to my business and what should I go after? And you can see here, there's a bunch, right? Resistant bands with handles. They don't rank for that. Strength training equipment, exercise bands with handles, perform better resistance bands, right? Workout bands with handle, so these handles is pretty critical, right? So you can see there's a bunch of keywords here that you might want to travel workout equipment, right? Resistant band workout. So you get the point, but you can go through, scroll through, pick out the relevant keywords, and then run you make sure your listing has it and run a PPC focus campaign to those and grow it from there. So you can see the kind of money you can make just off of these keywords, and it creates a halo effect for the rest of your keywords, right? So this is the kind of thing you can do. In terms of the reporting, this is the reporting. It's you can brand it with your own branding. It has a cover page, of course. You get a business overview for the whole business. And then you have, for each of your kind of individual products, you'll have a bunch of metrics. And this is updated daily. Again, it has the key metrics. It has some graphical displays. And it also comes out in a pretty cool PDF report that you can use both as a seller or obviously as an agency for your clients. So this is a pretty cool tool, and I'm looking forward to getting some feedback on it from the team here. So that's it from my side. At the end, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you kind of 3 offers, one as a seller, one obviously as an agency, and I'm going to give the link out to the first 20 that want to get that free audit analysis report if you qualify. And there's a little Google form, you fill that out, and then we'll take it from there and start working with you and get you that analysis report, which again, I think is the most critical thing to do coming out of the back of this Q4 period before setting yourself up for January 2024. All right, I'm going to stop my screen and I'm going to hand over to you, John.
Love it. Thanks so much, John. That's super interesting. And yeah, it gives me some ideas of how we could improve things with Seller Candy using ZonGuru. So thank you so much for sharing. Well, we're already talking. I'm looking forward to seeing what your offer is. All right. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes going through how to recover lost revenue. So how to get back what Amazon owes you and protect your bottom line. Because it's all about protecting bottom line. Who likes more money? I like more money.
Oh, yeah.
So I call this 11 minutes to make $11,000, to put $11,000 more in your pocket next year. So that's on average about what our clients get back.
Wow.
So first, why listen to us? CEO Seller Candy, we've processed over $3 million reimbursements the last 18 months. And separately from that, we've served over 500 clients through Seller Candy, which is our main flagship brand that does Amazon support, as I went through in an introduction. So we replaced Amazon support. So type it into the chat box, or if you don't want to share it, think it out loud. Can you still see my screen? Yeah, think it out loud. What's your ideal Amazon profit margin? Is it 10%, 20%, 30%? Most often I see sellers say 30%. Like, if I can hit 30%, then I'm going to be laughing. If I get over 25, that's probably okay. So let's say it's 30%. Well, Amazon isn't good at returning money from the sales that belong to you. What that means is, you make sales. Amazon is then supposed to give you a certain amount of that money back when you have different things happen, and they don't always do that. So you might ask, what are those types of categories of things they don't give back? So some of them are returns. You love ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. This doesn't make any sense when you start reading the text. But returns, you ship something, someone ships back a brick, and it's not there. Lost in warehouse. So this is when the forklift goes crazy. They lose things all over the warehouse. Could be lost in transit. So when it literally falls off the back of a truck. Or many, many other ways. There's about 12 different ways in which Amazon can lose your revenue and lose you money that should be coming back into your account. And how much is it? Good question. John, how much is it? It's about 1 to 3% of revenue. So 1 to 3% of your monthly revenue. And it can be more if you haven't done it before. So if you've never done it before, there could be a lot of money sitting there over the period you can go, which is up to 18 months. That is there for you to claim. The problem is, once you pass 18 months, there's no way of Amazon reclaiming it. So it's kind of a rolling loss after 18 months. So if you're not using a service, you should either do it yourself or use a service immediately. And really, what is one? So if you go back to that example of 30% margin, what does 1 to 3% really mean? Like, what does 3% of your revenue really mean? Well, what it means is it's up to 10% of your profit. Because 3% of revenue, 30% margin, up to 10% of your profit could be sitting there in Amazon's bank account that rightly belongs in yours. So this is can be a huge amount of money, especially when you're starting out, and it's money you're missing out on, as I said, if you don't claim it back regularly. So who wants more profits? I want more profits for sure. And how do we do it? So really, I want to show you those 3 different ways of doing this, of getting this money back from Amazon. Number 1, you can do it yourself, as always. And you are free, because you are the number 1 worker who will work unlimited numbers of hours for free for yourself and never complain, apart from in the mirror. Depends how much you value your time. But if you want to spend a couple of months, a couple of weeks learning the process, you can probably get away with spending a couple of days a month, spending your own time, full time, just doing this process. I don't know about you, but that would suck if I had to do that myself. So number 2, you can hire a virtual assistant. So you're going to need someone who's competent at doing this and someone who's trained. So ideally you find them, you have to believe them because you haven't learned the process. And then you need to pay them somewhere between $600 and $1,000 a month, and they'll come work for you. You can probably give them some other stuff to do at the same time. But really they need to be an expert on doing this, because if you mess it up, then you're losing real cash money. And then their salary just kind of disappears anyway. And so that's around $7,000 a year at the low end, if you multiply that 600 by 12. And option 3 is to use a service provider. For example, our partnership with ZonGuru. And what's cool about this is they claim a percentage of recovered revenue, which I'll take you through in a minute. So some benefits of using a service provider is it's totally hands-off. There's no retainer, so there's no monthly fee. And it's totally secure. So, you're not relying on someone that you're employing. And on top of that, it's better, cheaper, and faster. And I don't know if you like our little Seller Candy mascot. I don't think we've ever used it in a public thing before, because I think it looks like a super sperm. But in general, this guy looks like he's wired as well, doesn't he, this one? We've got about 100 variations of our Spermy the mascot. So what are we selling? ZonGuru has partnered with Seller Candy to bring a new reimbursement service to the market. And me and John didn't coordinate on these. But what's unique and special about us? Number A, our values, exactly what John said. Literally, we didn't talk about this beforehand. 2, we care. And 3, we look after you. One big gap in this space is care and looking after, because it's a high volume game. But that's something we're really focusing on, is customer experience with what we're doing here. If you already have a supplier, or if you don't even, we'll offer you white glove transfer. What that means is we will get on a call with you, onboard you into the system, at least for now. If you can see this webinar, we will onboard you into the system for the moment, and we will really look after you from the start to the end of the process, explain it to you, and take you through manually on the onboarding process, which no one else will do. And how do you know it's going to work? So we have success-based pricing. What that means is we take 25% of recovered revenue. So that basically means that if you're doing less than $2 million in annual revenue, it's going to be cheaper than having a VA do it for you. And above that point, reach out to us and we will talk to you directly about rates if you're doing above $2 million in annual revenue. So there are 2 options. So it's a webinar. So there's always a why act now? Because we're going to give you a $500 bribe. It's also known as a offer you can't refuse. Give you $500. That means $500 in reimbursements. So we give you $500 of free reimbursements. So if you feel like getting started, whether that's you want to talk to us about it, you want to do a free audit, or you just want to sign up straight away, all you have to do is go to this URL, which is zg.sellercandy.com. So ZG for ZonGuru. Put in say you'll get ready to get started, book an onboarding call, and in the onboarding call, you can ask as many questions as you want, and we can get you on board. So what's next? 1, you book the white glove onboarding session. You sit back on the onboarding call, and then you let the money roll in. It's that simple, and we just invoice you on a monthly basis. So thank you. Any questions you have, please do put them in the chat, and we will answer them in the Q&A section in about 5 or 10 minutes. That's my little 11 minutes to $11,000 in your pocket.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, what I love about this specific service is from a seller perspective, it literally costs you nothing, and you can make a bunch of money. So love it. And I certainly vouch for, I think what you'll get from Seller Candy is not only, results from what they're doing, but you're going to have a great experience working with their customer service and service team. They are really good at it. So you can get money and still have a pleasant and a great experience with a smile on your face. So there you go. All right, so let's jump over to our offer, and then we're going to jump into Q&A just for a few minutes. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just oops. I think share. Not as slick as you, John.
That's right. Just leave it open in the background.
I lost the screen. Where is that? Here it is. Okay.
That's all good. Is everyone ready for the end of the year? Type in the chat if you're ready for Christmas or Hanukkah or whichever holiday that you may or may not celebrate this time of year, depending where in the world you are. Personally, in Vietnam, there's no real Christmas. And I love that because it means I can go out on Christmas Day and go to a restaurant.
Ah, that's great. What do you do on Christmas then?
I have Christmas on our own, which is great. So we go out for like the local American restaurant, like American Diner place. They do an amazing Christmas lunch. Go to the cinema, go on the mall. Everything's open, which is perfect. I love it.
Nice. Amazing. All right, guys. So anybody who wants to get access to our offers, we're giving you 20% off for life on this link. And if you go with the annual plan, it literally works out to about 50% off in total. So take advantage of this. Just go to zonguru.link/2020. And that is for all sellers. You can get access and get that discount right now. That includes a 7-day free trial. So if you just want to get in and run a keywords on fire session, look at what keywords your competitors aren't ranking for, you can do that right now. It'll literally take you 3 minutes to do. So go ahead and give that a try. The enterprise offer for agencies specifically, go to zonguru.link/EP, and you'll go into a 21-day trial period where we will take you through some of the differences between our product and the agency version and the seller version, and also get your team trained up. So go ahead and jump on that. And then here it is. We're giving away for the first 20. If you qualify, you will get this audit. Go to this link, zonguru.link/Q4-report. zonguru.link/Q4-report. Fill out that questionnaire, and we will get our team looking at that. And if you're in the first 20, we will we'll start helping you on this and get that assessment done. So that's pretty cool. Jump in. It literally is a physical team doing this for you. So we just want to help you as much as possible. So jump in and get started. Okay, so let's get into Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. Let's get into Q&A now. We have a few questions. If you guys have questions, please post that into the chat, and we will, get to those questions. I know we have one of our team members is helping us on our end and put together a few questions as well that they've been getting in the private chat. And so I'm going to jump into these questions right now, and let's spend a few minutes on it. So I actually have one question just personally that I have, which I was curious about, John, on the reimbursement side. In terms of being a seller, what type of seller do you have to be to potentially see if there's reimbursements there? Like, so do you have to be FBA? Is it only FBA, like putting stock into Amazon and then the reimbursements is on that? Or, if you're doing it through a 3PL and sending direct, or, how does that work? Is there anything to get on that side, or is it literally all, it has to go through Amazon's distribution service?
It basically has to go through Amazon's distribution service. That being said, we're always willing to do an audit if they're sellers more FBM, but most of the time it's sort of everything that literally happens in the Amazon warehouse or Amazon-based returns, or actually on fees, for example. If Amazon's mismeasuring its storage fees reimbursement, then they're not storing for you either.
Gotcha. Okay, cool, great. All right. Daniel, it might also be good to just drop our links into the chat if you can, just for the offer so that they are there. That'll be great. All right, so a couple of questions I have here. I have one for me, and that is, what is it's actually for both of us. I guess I'll go first. What is your number one strategy tactic for Q1 to set your business up for 2024? Oh, it's there on the bottom of the screen as well. Thank you, Daniel. I would say the number one strategy for me is honestly doing right now is setting yourself up for Q1 and 2024 is doing a deep assessment of your current results. Right? I know we're supposed to do that all year, but truly understanding like of your set of ASINs, which ones are your MVP, which ones are performing the most, which ones have the best conversion rates. Of those ones, did you maximize the potential or underperform on those ASINs? How did that compare to your marketplace? All the kind of stuff that basically we talk to you about in that audit. Understanding going into the new year, like, okay, these are my MVPs, but also on the other side, these are the ones that didn't perform. So should I be just selling these out, getting rid of them, and then really focusing on the ones that matter, and then building out around that core base, right? So it's a time to reset and make some, frankly, hard decisions if you're emotionally attached, right? We all are as sellers to our product, but easy decisions when you look at the data. And if you look at the data in the right way, it makes it very apparent, like, hey, I need to focus on these, but I need to cut these. And that's what I would say you need to spend some time really doing before getting into the new year. And then maybe just one other bonus would be, just focusing more on your product research, not product research, but customer research side of things, right? As you get more into the AI world, the boats are, it's becoming more competitive. people are leveling up, right? So the more you can understand your avatar, what drives them emotionally and how to connect with them with your product, you're winning all day, right? And mostly I find that sellers don't spend enough time really truly understanding or doing some research or getting insights on their actual customer base. So I would spend time there as well. JC.
Love it. Thank you, JT. I would say similar to what John said. It would be vision and planning. So prepare. Today, this is the end of the year. This is the time to review what's gone well this year, what's not gone well. Just going to evaluate everything. So as John said, products, team members, marketing strategies, what went well this year, and then some ideas for next year. So what I like to do is I like to write a vision, like in present tense. It is the 31st of December, 2024. This is what's happened this year. This is what we've achieved. This is what I've done personally. This is how much revenue I've done. These are how many products I've launched. And then how do I feel about it being at that point? Because otherwise I don't know about you, that life slips away and we get to the end of next year and we've just continued churning the machine and walking the treadmill. And I'm like, well, how will I feel if we do X million dollars next year at this much margin? Like, okay, well, I think I'll feel good. So what do we need to do to get to that point? Otherwise, there's two options for planning, I believe. There's either planning from where we are now and doing iterative, okay, we have this stuff, we can go here, or we can go, okay, well, I want to do this. Well, what would I need to do that? Well, it means I need to launch 10 more products and invest this much money and this many different new ASINs and this much testing in order to get this much success. So that's what I like to do anyway, is do a proper planning session, reverse engineer where I want to be at the end of next year. And then from there, make some Q1 goals based on the projects which I've decided will get me to the result then at that time. So that's the big end of year thing, which we do every year.
Nice. I'm curious, in terms of Seller Candy, do you follow a practice of EOS systems or OKRs, or what's your secret sauce on obviously creating those objectives and execution managing to achieve them?
Secret sauce, we don't strictly follow EOS or OKRs. Closest to EOS, but I also have a good team and good mentors and coaches around me, and then they kind of drive us into the goals and planning sessions through the goals and planning sessions.
Nice, awesome. Okay.
What about you? Do you follow EOS? Or?
Yeah, we did traction, and we got EOS and slingshots that we manage, and roll up to our goals. I think going into 2024, I'm actually diving more into the OKRs aspect and trying to finesse kind of the objectives and obviously the key results that we need to create, because it's if you're more specific on the key results, that's what's gonna help you drive it. And then the actual we're changing up our status meetings to be a lot more transparent and accountable, which it's gonna be good for us, I think, in the new year. So ever changing and finessing and seeing how to improve, right? So those are some of the things that I'll be bringing to the team.
I love it. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So question for me, what will be critical to focus on in SEO in 2024? How do you truly grow versus competitors? Yeah. So I think on the SEO side, everyone's been talking about it. There's a kind of a change to they believe there's a bigger change happening to more of an AI version of the algorithm that focuses more on the semantic aspects of self-learning around what your product should be ranking for versus what customers are searching for and how to connect them, right? So moving more away from the literal, hey, these are the keywords, and we need to rank on those keywords, algorithm going like, hey, this is your kind of your niche, and this is what we think you should rank for, right? So there are some changes, apparently significant ones, coming to the algorithm, but also to the search experience for customers. How do they find products? They might be able to search by activity, right? Versus then just by product, those kind of things. So I think just keeping a close eye on what's happening in that space, but as important, I think it's just understanding that you don't have to panic, right? Listings are listings, and what you put into that listing certainly will guide any AI, right? Whether it's for semantic reasons or literal reasons, making sure that you have a well-written, great listing that is more importantly broad matched and written without overstuffing. A listing is going to be great, and frankly in 2024 it's going to be more about how, going back to the right way, which is like how you write a beautiful listing that makes sense to a customer and can connect with them, right? So I think those are the things that are going to drive SEO, and then being on top of all of the kind of points that I mentioned, right? So what are your top 20 points that you need to monitor to stay on the flywheel with Amazon, and just finessing those and being on top of those on a weekly basis. So that's going to drive your organic rank in the new year. And then a question for you. What do you do differently from other reimbursement services, or
other reimbursement service? Good question. I mean, really the way we differentiate ourselves is in the service. So, I mean, there's two things. The two things we do differently is we differentiate ourselves in the service, and we're totally transparent on our fees. So we're actually going through a big update at the moment on our direct site, where we can basically share. We just share all our fees and where the price breaks are openly, because I think that's the biggest pain point. At least that's my belief, is that in this industry, as you grow, you then have to negotiate with your supplier, and then you have to go back and forth, and then you hear someone's getting a different rate from you. Like, no, we don't want any of that. We believe that we'll just show all the rates, you get to choose, and then we give you great customer service on the back end. Because at the end of the day, the product's the product. You get your money back, you're happy. But when you actually run into issues, or you have to negotiate, or you have to get paperwork, that's where it's nice to deal with people who are good to deal with.
Epic. All right, cool. We have one chance for one more question, and I think the one is, I guess there's a couple here, but I'll just pick one. I guess, what new tools and services do you have coming in 2024? So from our side, the new tools, the big ones are the ones that I talked about, which is around performance reporting, the context of the markets, having your fingertips on that, and then keywords on fire, which is the baseline of your SEO and PPC performance, and giving you an edge of your competitors, because you're finding opportunities that they just won't find, and that's coming out in January. So at a high level, those are two tools. We're certainly going to double down and continue to be first to market on our SEO and AI aspect of the tool. Right now, that's on content. Certainly, we'll be looking at the image side of it as well, and a few other key things coming up. So and some bulk optimizations just to make our lives faster and quicker as well. How about you?
Well, I mean, for us, as part, we are just releasing more and more stuff in the app for what we do. That being said, for reimbursements, I think we are doing an amazing service if you very rarely need to interact with the service. We just want to make it so you can go in, spend like 3 to 5 minutes, do everything, and that's it for a month. So that's the goal, is just simplification. Through Seller Candy, I mean, we're just staying ahead of Amazon. So staying ahead of the Amazon curve is the name of the game. As Amazon becomes more and more templated and more not so smart, we want to just be the best that we can be in supporting people in the Amazon space. So not a very good answer to that, because it's all about what comes up. I don't know what's coming, but we try and stay just ahead of the curve.
Yeah, no, that's obviously probably one of the biggest pain points as a seller, is not only dealing with Amazon, but when frankly shit goes wrong, how do you fix it in the fastest way, right? And you guys are obviously experts in that area, which is huge. Thank you, Jon, for coming on, and thank you for everyone listening here. We will be sending out the replay. You have those offers, and I wish you the best for the rest of Q4 and obviously 2024. And Jon will be touching base more. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's late that side. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me, Jon. Always good to be here virtually.
All right. Catch you later. Enjoy Christmas at the American diner.
Will do. It makes it sound so not fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Bye.
Catch you later. Bye.